another episode of The Safe Space. Yay, here we are. It's a beautiful day in the Pacific Northwest. We got our new question box here, built by none other than Wyatt and Mason.
I thought Italian Cow built it.
Yeah, it does look like a couple of 6 or 7 year olds built it, but hey, you know, I'm sure we'll see a couple different iterations as we continue to advance here. But it is better than the cardboard box that we had. Low budget around here.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's been a while since we've been on here.
Yep.
Couple weeks. I've been elk hunting, successful elk hunt. We've been busy, summertime, but here we are. We're back at it. So today, I believe the topic is surrounding panic rooms, which, yeah,
we waited for you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. This is a good topic that I have some interest in, just because we get to help people build and design a lot of cool spaces. You know, I think the first thing to talk about is just like the terminology of a panic room or a safe room or a vault room. It's like, okay, so what's the difference between the three then, right? I think people kind of like, you know, mix them up and think that they're different. But I mean, there are some features and some things that can differentiate one from another. But really, you can use a vault room as a panic room. You can use a safe room as a panic room, and obviously you can use a panic room as a panic room. So yeah, I think that's one thing that kind of gets, I guess, misconveyed.
Yeah, and it's funny because I bet you in this box that question is asked.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's funny.
And one of the things we were talking about last week is like when we did the episodes with no questions, Mason's like, well, you guys start talking and answer most of the questions anyways before you even look at them.
Yeah.
So,
almost like a real podcast.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I'll just jump into it. What's the difference between a panic room and a vault room?
Yeah. So, you know, the first thing I guess that comes to mind is going to be features on the door, right, that you're putting on the room. So, you know, depending on what manufacturer of door you go with, different companies offer different internal release and lockout options, right?
Yeah.
It still blows our mind that some to this day don't offer that, even though they sell tons of doors. We can talk about the different brands, but really, I guess the main difference is going to be, you know, the idea and the goal of, you know, a home intrusion situation, having a space with the appropriate reinforcement on the room itself to keep somebody out, and then also the door needs to have an inside lock option to lock somebody out.
Too many people think that they have that, and they really don't, because all vault doors will have an internal bypass, meaning let's say you have a vault door with an electronic lock. You want to protect yourself in there, take your family in there. So you do your combination, open up the door, go in, close the door, it automatically locks. However, if the person on the other side of that room has the combination or can defeat the lock, you have no control of that from the inside.
Yeah.
To where a safe that has like a Liberty Beast vault door.
Liberty Beast, yeah.
That has that internal lock.
Out.
You can go in, and if somebody has a combination from the outside, if somebody defeats that lock, you still have the ability to control it being locked from the inside. And it's not just the bypass feature. So, you know, for everybody looking at that internal bypass feature, that's to let you out.
Yeah, you can't lock yourself in.
Yeah, but you can't, and especially if you have a safe that doesn't have, you know, the first example I gave was an electronic lock. Well, if that is a dial and you go in, there's no way to lock it.
There isn't. Yeah, that's a good point.
Without the internal relocker.
Yeah. You know, it made me think of Phil from Fort Knox, which Fort Knox probably, you know, of the top end manufacturers probably builds and sells more vault doors than anybody. It's
even the low end. They probably build more vault doors than anybody else.
25% of their business, and they build awesome doors, but they don't have an internal, panic room option, so to speak. And I like Phil's answer. He's like, well, they shouldn't be hanging around people that might want to get into their room if they have the code, marry somebody better, or don't have a crazy boyfriend. I thought that was a funny answer to that. But yeah, another thing that comes to mind is internal features of a room, right? If it's specifically designed for a panic room, right? We've helped people design lots of safe rooms and vault rooms and panic rooms, and a lot of people will have a way to communicate with, hardwired communications into the room, whether that's, a phone. A lot of guys will have, their computer set up in there.
Escape hatch.
And then the escape hatch. So, we actually have an escape hatch for anybody looking for one in stock right now. But basically, you go into the room, you lock it, somebody's trying to break in, you have another way of exiting your home or your room via a crawl space or another exit out of that space. So yeah, we sell escape hatches to allow people to get out of there and hopefully get to somewhere that's safe and out of danger.
And what's the difference between why is it that escape hatch is another vault door? What's the differences?
Yeah, an escape hatch is hopefully, something that has like ours has those gas hinges on it that, somebody can actually pull down, so if somebody did enter, that you could actually lock that as well. But yeah, besides just an actual vault door in the wall, it could be in the floor. I guess it could be in the wall as well, but it's typically a much smaller rough opening, right? Mm-hmm. It's not a full door, so
in one-way entry.
Yep.
There's no lock or anything from the outside.
Yeah, so you basically leave it open, and then if you need to utilize it, you go ahead and scurry on out of there. So yeah, we've seen some cool escape hatches, but yeah, besides so really the main difference between a panic room and a vault room is going to be a door that has a lockout option to prevent someone from coming in, even if they do have the code or can defeat the lock, and then maybe some internal features in a nutshell. Okay. Besides the door, what makes a panic room a panic room? We can pretty much just skip on by that.
Shocker, yeah.
Okay, I get to do another one.
All
then.
right.
These guys, I tell you. Where's the best location for a panic room?
Well, gosh, a lot of it depends on the setup of your house. I would say whatever you can get to fastest. We've had a couple, two of the last big jobs that we've done, people actually did an extension on their house, poured a room, and above was their master bedroom, and below was their vault room. I think that's obviously a really cool setup.
Yeah, that's ideal.
Yeah, for a remodel, or just when in the planning phases.
Yeah.
I would have it somewhere close to your master bedroom, but it really depends on how your house is set up.
Yeah, the one I think about is one with an escape hatch that we did. It's on the main floor of the home, and it's in a hallway, and it's kind of centered around like the main living space, the entry of the main home, kitchen. Like it's kind of in a center spot where you're going by it, and it's quick to get to if you're on the main floor of the home at any point, right? And it's disguised with a bookcase, and you open up that bookcase, there's a vault door, you enter the vault room, and you can go ahead and lock it. And then that one had an escape hatch down into it was a full height crawl space, and it went out to the woods. So yeah, I think a center location, kind of like what we talk to people about their safes, like where should I put my safe? Well, put it in somewhere that's convenient, right? Not for a home protection situation, but just day-to-day use. I think a vault room should be similar to that, even though we do a lot of stuff in shops and in garages and stuff. But
people
again,
just converting spaces that they already have.
Yeah. So initially, you probably the first thing you think about on this, most people I would think is like, oh, it needs to be in my master bedroom, like my closet, right? Which, yeah, we've converted a ton of master bedroom closets into safe rooms. I'm really looking forward to a new product that we're getting ready to offer our customers, which basically you can take any internal door that you have or external door, match your existing millwork. It'll look just like your 3-panel or 6-panel interior door, but it's reinforced depending on what level you want. Just like vault doors, you can buy you can buy an entry-level vault door or high-end vault door in between. The bulletproof, yeah, different ballistic ratings. So yeah, if you don't want to get into the full-on pour concrete, do the reinforcement of the room, but you want something at least that buys you some time, right?
Yeah, I think that converting your walk-in closet door,
yeah, to something that's reinforced,
is affordable.
Yeah,
yeah.
Someone can't kick it down, and yeah, especially if you
couldn't break it down with a battering ram.
No, yeah, I'm excited to unveil the armored doors.
Yeah. Okay. You're locked in a panic room for a week. What are the 3 items you would bring with?
Oh man, that's funny. We got this question with a safe, right? If you were locked in a safe, obviously a little bit tighter quarters with a safe. If you're in a panic room, and you're in there for a week, well, you got to have food and water, right? So, I know I said some Coors Light in my last one, which is basically like water, but we'll keep this one more.
It has some calories too.
It does, some protein as well. But we'll go, water number 1 would be my first deal. Food, I don't know if I have to like pick a certain type of food, but a lot of our customers use their safe rooms and panic rooms also as like food storage.
Dry food storage.
Yeah, dry food storage. So, hopefully that would already be in there. I'm a big fan of Peak freeze-dried meals. I use them hunting and camping, and they're delicious. Buffalo Ranch mashers are my favorite. So hopefully I got some Peak in there. I guess freeze-dried food would be good. Hopefully I got my jet boil in there, and then a good book, right? You gotta have something to keep you entertained. So, a good book.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay, we'll stick with it. All right, last one. This one's quick. Good, better, best panic room doors. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, because of good. So good, I'm gonna go. It's kind of crazy. I guess I'm not gonna put Fort Knox in this because they don't have that internal
not designed for a panic room.
So the Rhino
vault door would be a good. Yeah, I could agree with that.
And the reason I'll put American Security above the Rhino is because I think their lock is more user friendly, faster,
way faster,
simpler. Yeah, it's very user friendly. You know what you need to do. To where the Rhino one
takes a little
time and knowing what to do.
Yeah.
And then I think the best execution is Liberty. The Beast vault door, not the Blockade, but the Beast.
Yeah, and maybe what we can do, Mason, is put some B-roll in this, showing those 3 different internal lock and release options, and just how user-friendly the Beast one is, in addition to American Security and then Rhino. And those are 3 of have long been 3 of our best-selling doors. For Fort Knox, as far as overall quality of a door and security options and customization, is definitely starting to take over. But
I wanted to say graph under for the top, and it's definitely going to be the heaviest door. But when we had one on our floor for display, we had an issue with the internal release, and the response that we got was, "Hey, what's going on with this?" So it was, well, it's not designed to be used a lot. It's like, that's probably needs to be addressed.
Yeah, if you need that to be used in a pinch, you
Because if it can fail from a lot of use, then it could. I don't know. I just don't.
Yeah, you want something ultra reliable, which again, I think that's why that beast is like, man, it is just very straightforward how to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I'm looking forward to seeing these new armor doors that we're getting ready to bring in and see how those kind of work into the fold of our offerings. And
if you're building a true vault room, high security vault room, I think you want to put a vault door on there.
Yeah.
If you're reinforcing something like an existing room, your master bedroom closet,
not doing the reinforcement,
I think the armor doors are. They're fantastic.
I mean, their top end door. I mean, it's a pretty heavy duty deal. I'm interested to see, how those work into our offering. So, but yeah, panic rooms, safe rooms, vault rooms, something that we love to help people design. This is usually at a point where somebody's, in their life where they can afford to build a home or do an expensive remodel, and this is something that they've thought about for years and years.
Yeah.
They want to have something to protect not only their firearms and their valuables, but also their family. We've seen, especially in the last several years, like as far as home burglaries and break-ins and home intrusions, especially, in some of the nicer areas in like Seattle and Bellevue and Kirkland, property crime has just continued to increase. And I think there's going to be a demand and a need for more people who want to add these to new home builds. And we can obviously help people with the design phase, get in with your contractor, your architect, come up with a game plan, in swing, out swing, what look you want, all that stuff. But the earlier you plan for your panic room, the better off you're going to be.
Yep, absolutely. When we were talking about differences between panic rooms and vault doors, was ventilation brought up? Because that's something.
Yeah, and I mean that's something, whether it's a vault room or a panic room, I think should be addressed. And we always tell people, if you can connect your vault room to your central forced air, that's going to create the most healthy environment in there. That way you've got air moving around. It's a healthy climate and temperature. Throw some dehumidifiers in there. It should be good. But like we've done some rooms where it's in an external space, garage, shop, maybe not quite climate controlled, not connected to the central forced air. So we went ahead and put a fresh air intake in there on a timer. And so just constantly circulating fresh air into that space, healthy climate for your valuables, but also if you're in there for a week, that would be good to have fresh air. So, if anybody has any questions about panic rooms, safe rooms, vault doors, don't hesitate to reach out. And
we're a large stocking dealer of vault doors. So if you are looking for it, a lot of times vault doors are one of those last minute things, even though they shouldn't be, right? Yeah. We stock them so we can get you turned around instead of 2 or 3 months. We can get something to you right away.
Absolutely.
All right.
Cool. Well, we will see you on the next episode of The Safe Space. Appreciate it. Thanks for watching. See you soon.